Так, we will already have. Так, всем привет. Сейчас мы подождем чуть-чуть еще, пока все соберутся, и тогда начнем. Окей, давайте начинать. Я думаю, что... нет, еще пока есть время. Вы можете начинать думать над вопросами, потому что сегодня мы уделим время тому, чтобы ответить на вопросы. И вы можете их писать в чат, и мы обязательно попробуем на все вопросы ответить сегодня. We're gonna wait a bit.
I can maybe confirm the audio.
We have
The
audio.
not just the hearers.
Yeah. Да, ребят, скажите, как слышно, что все слышно. Все видно. Супер, отлично, Полин, спасибо. Давайте еще пару минут буквально возьмем, потому что сейчас только 7. Надеюсь, что все, кто хочет присоединятся. Если что, то будет запись потом, которая будет выложена на YouTube Хуцпы, клуба Хуцпы. Так, еще полминутки и начинаем. 30 seconds and we can start. Okay, I think we can start.
Right.
Да, давайте начинать. Всем привет. Мы сегодня собрались, чтобы поговорить на такую волнующую тему, и я уверена, что раз вы здесь, значит, вы уже с ней знакомы. И, кстати, напишите в чате, насколько вы уже в процессе, вы только начнете скоро или уже в процессе. Напишите нам, чтобы мы понимали. Сегодня мы будем говорить про Ступро. И сегодня говорить про Ступро будет адвокат Роем Капах. Он эксперт по Ступро и помогает парам по всей стране успешно проходить и комфортно проходить процедуру ступенчатую. Рой.
Hello, everyone.
Всем
I'm
привет.
very happy to be here with you this evening.
Я сегодня очень рад быть с вами.
Now let's maybe dive right into it.
Да, давайте сразу начнем.
Yeah. So, hello again, everyone. Let's dive right into the subject right away. So we're here to speak about Stupro.
Да, мы здесь, давайте сразу начнем, перейдем к делу. Мы здесь, чтобы говорить про Ступро.
I know from a close glance that it can be very confusing, and it's causing headache right away.
И я знаю не понаслышке, да, что эта процедура может быть очень непонятной и вызывать головную боль сразу.
When you right away trying to understand the subject and to face it and all the bureaucracy, I know it's very confusing.
Да, я знаю, что это непросто, когда вы начинаете погружаться в бюрократические процессы и только узнавать, особенно про процедуру.
So please, guys, I'm inviting you to write in the comments down below if also for you it feels the same and why.
Да, и напишите в комментариях нам тоже, если это вы ощущали что-то похожее, чувствовали что-то похожее, и почему, может быть, тоже поделитесь.
Yeah, and every question, of course, I will do my best to answer this evening and to help as much as possible.
И на все вопросы я сегодня постараюсь ответить и помочь, как только смогу. Вопрос в чате, нужно ли писать на английском, можно писать на любом языке. Ну, на русском, на английском. Пишите на каком хотите языке.
Yeah, so write everything on your mind and any issue you have. This is the purpose of this webinar, to try and to help you guys and make it easy for you.
И цель вообще сегодняшнего вебинара в том, чтобы сделать эту процедуру немного проще для вас.
Okay, so let me begin with introducing myself.
Да, давайте я представлюсь.
So my name is Roem Капах, and my specialty is the Stupro procedure.
Меня зовут адвокат Роем Капах, и моя специализация — это процедура Ступро.
I represent many clients around Israel and the interior office branches.
Я представляю интересы многих пар, многих семей в разных уголках Израиля, в разных отделениях МВД.
And the different Israeli courts.
И в различных судах.
So I'm here tonight with my wife Ilona, who is walk alongside with me.
Я сегодня здесь с моей женой Илоной, да, это я, привет. Мы работаем вместе.
Yeah, our mission is to help couples like you to succeed and overcome the Stupro procedure easily and without anxiety.
И наша миссия в том, чтобы помогать парам, таким как вы, проходить процедуру комфортно и с минимальной тревогой.
So let us begin with understanding what is it Stupro exactly.
Давайте начнем с того, чтобы поймем, что такое вообще Ступро.
Stupro, it's a gradual process, meaning the steps that you need to do in order to change your status, your legal status in Israel.
Ступро — это ступенчатая процедура, которая представляет шаги, которые необходимо предпринять на пути к получению статуса в Израиле.
Later, I will explain about the exact visa that you will receive, that you were supposed to receive along the way, along the process.
И чуть позже я расскажу про то, какие визы, какие типы виз будут включены в процедуру. Вы будете получать в ходе процедуры.
According to the Israeli law, there is a process, a gradual process. This is the Stupro, a gradual process of several years that you need to have before you will get either a permanent status or Israeli citizenship as a partner, as a foreign partner of Israeli citizen.
И в Израиле есть процедура и определенные ступени, определенные шаги и вещи, которые необходимо сделать для того, чтобы получить статус в качестве партнера израильтянина.
So who is eligible for Stupro?
Да, для кого вообще процедура Ступро? Давайте разберемся.
So one of you should be Israeli citizen, of course.
Один из вас гражданин Израиля, конечно.
And the other is a foreign citizen.
Второй иностранец.
Your relationship should be real and honest.
ваши отношения честны и правдивы.
And you should be ready.
Искренне.
You should be ready to move your center of life to Israel, to live in Israel.
И вы должны быть готовы к тому, чтобы перенести центр жизни, и чтобы центр вашей жизни — это Израиль.
This is on a nutshell. Now, who is not eligible for
Для
Stupro?
кого Ступро не подходит?
For example, a couple who just want to help one of them to extend current visa, current temporary visa. Usually it's a tourist visa.
Да, это, например, пары, кто хочет просто продлить туристическое пребывание партнера иностранца в Израиле, а не действительно жить, да, в Израиле.
Versus couple who's willing to move and their center of life to Israel for good. They are ready and they are commitment about moving and living in Israel.
Да, то есть тут надо понимать, что Ступро не для того, чтобы продлить туристическое пребывание, это для того, что это для тех пар, которые приняли решение жить и центром жизни иметь Израиль.
If you are guys not sure about your relationship, about your romantic relationship with a partner,
если вы не уверены в романтических своих отношениях с партнером,
or if you're not sure about making Israel as your center of life,
или вы не уверены в том, чтобы сделать Израиль центром своей жизни,
this is not the right procedure for you, and you should pause until you will be sure about it, or just try to avoid it in order not to have uncomfortable.
Да, эта процедура не для вас, и вам нужно сделать паузу и принять решение уже потом. То есть.
So let's speak about Stupro and about.
I think also it's important to say that it's not for fraud or relationship in the one who want to help another one.
Yes, of course. This is axiom as I see it.
Да, также это аксиома, как
there is only honest and real relationship. The details, the clerks of the interior office very sensitive to frauds.
Мы говорим здесь только про искренние настоящие отношения. Это не та процедура, и если это если она делается для того, чтобы помочь кому-то со статусом или приобрести статус через эту процедуру, и это, как Рои говорит, что сотрудники МВД, во-первых, это долгая процедура, а во-вторых, сотрудники МВД очень четко понимают, чувствуют эти подвохи.
Yeah, because it's very tempting, and many would like to live in Israel as a Western country. The interior office developed during the years methods and tests, and he will test also you guys and everyone who's coming into his gates.
Да, и поскольку Израиль для многих является желаемым местом жизни, то МВД специально разработала как бы стадии проверок, да, на искренность отношений в том числе.
Yeah, so usually we'll speak maybe later about this test and all this.
Да, мы чуть позже еще поговорим о том, какие.
This is why there is a gradual process. That there's years of checks, and
это годы проверок. Кстати.
And they usually just ruin in the future a possibility to obtain status in Israel if you're trying, if it's not an honest relationship. Just to make it clear.
Да, чтобы это было понятно, если это не искренние отношения, это только усложнит и в будущем всем жизни, в том числе там, приобретение статуса, если такое действительно искреннее желание потом появится.
Yeah, so as we agree already, Stupro, it's a long process. It's a long run, and you should be commitment and ready.
Да, как мы уже сказали, да, Ступро — это долгий процесс, который требует определенного коммитмента, определенного вложения и уверенности.
So you need to be patient. This is a very direct personal recommendation because of the time. You should be patient and serious and understand that it's a long run.
Да, и это как еще персональная рекомендация, набраться терпения и понимать, что это долгий путь, и в котором вам нужно будет терпение и серьезность ваших намерений.
Yeah, so in the end, the timeline is depend on each interior office branch.
Сроки могут зависеть от многих причин, в том числе от, например, в том, в каком МВД вы проходите процедуру.
Each geographic branch will be decided for you guys according to the location where the Israeli citizen, the Israeli partner, lives in and sign in the interior office.
То есть в МВД ваша процедура проходит в МВД по месту жительства партнера израильтянина.
So depends the pressure and the human sources that each branch has. It can prolong, but according to the law, it should be around 5 years, at least 5 years, around 5 years to married couple, and around 7 years, at least 7 years to not married couple.
Да, это процедура, ориентировочные ее сроки, то есть они действительно могут быть индивидуальны. В том числе это может зависеть, да, вот, например, от в каком МВД проходит процедура, и там у них могут быть разное количество сотрудников, которые, да, занимаются, но как бы сроки примерные, да, это вот не менее 5 лет для пар, которые в браке, ну, то есть ориентировочно 5 лет, и для пар, которые не состоят в официальном браке, это 7 лет, не менее 7 лет.
Okay, so as you can see on the screen, you can see steps level. Stupro is from meaning of the steps you need to do in order to change the status, as we discussed earlier.
Да, Ступро — это вот уровни как бы статуса, да, который вы приобретаете, как мы говорили ранее.
So the steps, the stages are starting with the very basic visa. It's a B2, it's a generic one, it's only touristic visa.
Первая ступень это виза B2, это самая базовая туристическая виза.
From touristic visa, you will be upgraded to a B1 visa. It's a visa with a possibility to work.
После этого партнер-иностранец получает следующий шаг, как бы следующая ступень. Это виза B1, это туристическая виза с правом на работу.
Yeah, then you should be upgraded to A5 visa, Алиф-5.
Далее это виза Алиф-5, это вид на жительство, временный вид на жительство.
It's a temporary residency.
Да, временный вид на жительство.
And after that, you should be upgraded either to permanent residency or citizenship.
Да, и после этого вы можете получить либо постоянное резидентство, либо гражданство.
Okay, let's discuss, guys, about the algorithm.
Давайте немного поговорим про алгоритм.
Okay, as you can see on the screen, it's the classic procedure, as it is the Stupro classic procedure.
Да, вот сейчас на экране вы видите классический формат, классическую процедуру Ступро, вот тот алгоритм, который в классическом варианте, она выглядит вот так, процедура.
Yeah, aside to that, it's very important for me to highlight that there could be a bit unique cases regarding the stages that you can see in the screen in front of you.
Важно сказать, что процедура может быть выглядеть не совсем так и быть уникальной в плане шагов.
Yeah, for example, if both of you live abroad,
например, если вы оба проживаете в другой стране,
then you should have another stage of going together to the nearest Israeli consulate to have some additional checks and /interview.
То ваша процедура начнется в консульстве Израиля в той стране, в которой вы живете, и там вы будете проходить определенные проверки, собеседования.
Yeah, this is before having the permit to go together as a couple inside Israel.
И это перед тем, как вы получите право на въезд как пара уже в Израиль.
Versus, for example, the classic situation, as you can see.
Классическая ситуация, как вы видите, да, на экране, можете почитать шаги.
The most common one that the Israeli citizen, after you applying online, going to the interior office in order to get the approval for the entry of the
couple waiting separately.
Exactly.
И как вы видите, вот, например, да, как классические варианты, которые более чаще всего, да, встречаются, когда партнер израильтянин находится в Израиле, он должен сначала делать сбор документов, подача прошения онлайн, затем подача оригинала в ВВД, и только затем получение разрешения на въезд партнера иностранца. То есть все это время пара находится на расстоянии.
Yeah, anyway, as I mentioned, the most common one is the one you see on the screen.
Как я говорил, да, самое, наверное, самое часто, да, это часто встречающаяся, это вот та, которую вы видите.
Yeah, and please, I'm inviting you guys, if you have specific question, if you're during the process already or you're about to have it, please write it down below in the comments so I can address it right away during this webinar.
Да, скажите, напишите в чат, если вы уже в процессе, да, на каком этапе вы, какие-то вопросы по этапам, да, чтобы мы могли на это обратить внимание на этом вебинаре.
Yeah, I would like a bit just to discuss about very unique cases. They are unique, but not that rare. That many couple facing, because most of the cases are not very basic, and who are seek for help are not just the very common basic situation. So I would like to discuss it.
Да, немного уделим внимание тем кейсам, тем ситуациям, которые случаются, которые не такие простые, они уникальны, как и дела Ступро бывают, да, уникальны, но они все равно часто достаточно встречаются.
For example, a foreign partner who is staying at the moment already in Israel and would like to apply with his Israeli citizen, but has had in the past illegal stay.
Да, например, такая ситуация, когда партнер иностранец находится уже в Израиле и хочет подать прошение, но у него было нелегальное время пребывания в Израиле.
Yeah, it's very important for me to highlight, guys, that also these kind of complicated cases are doable, and in the end of the day, you should be eligible and qualified to get a status in Israel.
Да, но важно подчеркнуть, что даже такие непростые ситуации, они все равно возможно получение статуса, то есть это не ставит на стоп всю ситуацию, нет, это как бы что-то, что можно преодолеть.
Yeah, so please don't be scared, and I will try to normalize it for you guys. It would be maybe a bit more challenging.
Такие как бы осложненные процедуры, да, они более сложные, но они не безнадежные.
Another case that is common, that sometimes this is life. People fell in love. People knew Israel in the past, stayed a bit here. There are cases also that people try to get to the border or try to obtain status in any way and got kicked out of Israel. It happened, it's life. As long as you have honest relationship and you are prepared and ready and commit to the process, it is doable.
Да, если, например, партнер иностранец до этого уже приобретал статус или пытался приобрести статус и был там депортирован, да, это тоже можно преодолеть. Это...
So another case that is a bit challenging but still doable if you try to obtain status in the past in Israel, if you apply for a refugee
Например,
status,
если партнер иностранец пытался или был в статусе беженца в
you had a
Израиле,
nursing visa, working
да,
with elderly.
или виза работы с пожилыми, да, была.
Yeah, sometimes it's challenging, and the interior office, the MVD looking at it like you're trying to get a status in Israel.
Да, МВД может смотреть когда потом начинается Ступро, МВД может смотреть на это как и подозревать, что партнер иностранец просто пытается приобрести статус в Израиле, но...
Yeah, so also foreign citizens who are trying to obtain citizenship with the Stupro gradual process, having a criminal record in the past, or the Israeli citizens.
Или кто-то из пары с криминальным прошлым, да, тоже такие бывают ситуации.
So
all
it is doable. Also,
Israelis,
for example, also Israelis who applied in the past already to gradual process with other partners. Sometimes it looks like you're...
Или, например, израильтянин, also the foreigner would be the one, или кто-то один из пары уже до этого был на процедуре Ступро с другим кем-то, да, с другим партнером. Такое тоже бывает.
Yeah, so there are many unique cases aside to the classic
много уникальных ситуаций, кейсов, кроме вот такого классического формата, да.
Yeah, individual cases that you are facing and you might face, but it's important for me just to reduce panic and normalize it a bit. As long as you have the honesty of your relationship and you're serious and you're willing to live here in Israel, it is doable, guys. And
для меня важно подчеркнуть, Рой говорит, да, что для него важно подчеркнуть, что снизить градус паники и подчеркнуть, что это все возможно. Это главное, что ваши отношения искренние, и вы действительно настоящая пара, и вы действительно хотите жить вместе и сделать центром жизни Израиль.
Yeah, and of course, if you still feel not comfortable and you need any assistance and help, I'm here for you guys, and I'm inviting you, of course, to contact me.
Да, если у вас какие-то вопросы и так далее, вы можете написать нам после вебинара.
Again, please, I would like just to highlight before we proceed the fact that just a second, the point of view of the MVD of the interior office as they see this process, the very beginning of this process, for the interior office, according to the law, you need to apply before you're trying to make any entry to Israel.
Да, для МВД, как они на это смотрят, Рои сейчас хочет показать, как они, да, на это могут смотреть. Для них перед тем, как въехать в Израиль, вы необходимо, то есть so people need to go classic version, basically.
According to the Israel Interior Office, this is how they see it. Of course, any case, any individual case, usually people just falling in love, doing innocent things.
Да, то есть люди действительно влюбляются и как бы по незнанию, да, может быть, где-то неосознанно, скажем, да, делают какие-то шаги. Как МВД на это смотрит, вот классическая версия, да, то есть подача, ожидание, приглашение, это то, как это должно быть.
Yeah, exactly. So the interior office, sometimes people just don't understand and don't know and not aware that even though sometimes we have a bilateral agreement as a country, with other foreign countries of automatic receiving automatic visa just right you when you enter the country for Israel, for example.
Да, то, что, например, у нас есть соглашение, да, безвизовом въезде в страну.
And people in understand too well just would like to be to reunion with their partner, to be next to them, and they just would like to come and
и да, и люди как бы, ну, действительно хотят быть рядом со своим партнером и въезжают.
Yeah, but there are still checks in the borders, and if they see that you are coming to settle down with your partner, or they just suspect it.
Или если они подозревают, что как бы цель визита не туристическая, а для того, чтобы остаться жить со своим партнером.
Yeah, so it can be not pleasant in the border. Sometimes you can be sent back because, as I mentioned, according to the law and according to how the Interior Office look at it, before you're coming and to have this kind of process or to move to live here in Israel with your partner, you need to apply in advance.
И это действительно может привести, ну, тоже попытка въезда, скажем, да, вне процедуры может, да, привести в том числе к депортации, потому что согласно процедуре она должна выглядеть вот так, да, то есть подготовка, сбор документов, подача онлайн, подача физически, и только потом, после получения разрешения, партнер-иностранец въезжает в Израиль.
So after applying, just would like to mention the term decision. So after applying in any other stage in the process, you will have decision. It can be either a decision of Interior Office clerk.
После, да, шагов процедуры у вас будет решение. Решение это может быть решение сотрудника МВД.
Can be interior, it can be a decision of court.
Это может быть судебное решение.
Etc. And every decision can be attacked, and every decision can be appealed, and it's not the end of the day, it's not the end of the story.
И каждое решение может быть, то есть можно подавать апелляцию на каждое из решений. То есть решение это не конец и не конец разговора, да, это возможность апеллировать.
Decision can be a full acceptance of your request.
Решение может быть, например, полное принятие, да, вашего запроса.
In some cases, it can be I'm calling it partly acceptance because it can be
частичное, как да, Роем говорит, частичное принятие.
Because the Interior Office is not 100% sure, so he's asking to give a guarantee in order if he will keep suspect or he will not believe in the future.
Да, но вот такое частичное, это как бы если МВД не до конца там убежден в каких-то вопросах, они могут назначить залог и в будущем, да, продолжать проверки.
So he can use this guarantee in the future in order to ask the foreign partner to leave Israel, and the third.
Да, они могут использовать этот залог, да, для того, чтобы убедиться в том, что партнер-иностранец покинет страну.
And the third option of decision is complete decline.
И это может быть отказ.
So in remember that every decision still can be attacked. It's not the end of
Запомните, что решение это, да, не финальное, они могут быть, то есть можно подавать апелляцию и оспаривать эти решения.
So just remember that, and I'm just for you to understand. Every visit in the Interior Office, you should be prepared. You should be calm as much as possible, and remember, it's not the end of the day. That being said, any decision, it's holding the status, holding the opportunity, the possibility to submit a new request up to a year after the decline, unless you deal with it or trying to appeal the decision.
И главное оставаться спокойным, уверенным, подготавливаться, да, к встречам в МВД и помнить, что решение может быть оспорено апелляцией, но если вы его не оспариваете и так далее, то подача заново может быть только через год после.
Okay, let's proceed so we can have some time.
Да, давайте продолжать, да, чтобы у нас осталось время для вопросов. I can tell it myself. Вы можете зайти на сайт и скачать там полезные материалы, особенно для тех, кто начинает процедуру, там списки документов, списки вопросов, которые задают на раздельном собеседовании в МВД. Это все бесплатно, вы можете зайти вот на сайт и скачать. И
Common mistakes?
Common mistakes, yes.
Okay, 3 common
И
mistakes.
давайте пройдемся по 3 ошибкам, таким, которые многие совершают.
Okay, first, it's very important from my experience in practice and how I see it in the end of the day, working with people, working with clients. It's very important. People sometimes taking it for granted and it's trivial because people look at it as, okay, we have honest relationship. What can be wrong? What's the problem?
Да, большая ошибка бывает в том, когда люди смотрят на это с такой персональной точки зрения. Они думают, ну, мы настоящая пара, у нас все хорошо, что может быть проблемой, никаких проблем быть не может, or like we have kids, we can just enter, или у нас есть дети, поэтому мы можем просто въехать и так далее.
So there is, unfortunately, there is strict bureaucracy. Sometimes this procedure can be very hard with not high flexibility.
Но надо понимать, что это процедура, которая действительно, у нее есть регламенты, там есть бюрократия своя, они могут быть очень неподвижны, да, в своих решениях.
So please come prepared, read the instructions and the list of documents you need to bring carefully.
Да, вы ознакомьтесь со списком документов четко, да, то есть следуйте инструкции.
Take it seriously, please,
Да,
because
принимайте это серьезно. Not from a personal perspective, but from legal perspective.
Yeah, from the legal perspective, because
Да, смотрите.
Personal level, I'm pretty sure, and I tend to give credit and believe everyone, but according who you are going to face, mostly going to be very strict and gonna ask you to bring proof for your romantic relationship, for your center of life, etc., etc. So just be serious about it.
Да,
and
смотрите на эту процедуру не с персональной точки зрения, а с легальной точки зрения, потому что эта процедура именно такая, и у вас действительно, и мы там верим, да, в это, что у вас действительно настоящие отношения, но и тот, кого вы встретите в МВД, не обязательно будет в это верить, будет просить определенные доказательства этому и относиться к этому действительно серьезно, и к этапам процедуры, и к тому, к регламенту процедуры относиться стоит серьезно.
Okay, next I would like to highlight the public documents, the personal documents.
Еще одна вот ошибка, которую совершают, это ошибка с документами.
Yeah, sometimes people tend to forget about the apostille.
Забывают об апостилях, о документах, about some documents, про даты документов.
It's very important to face it seriously and to not apply or send it without all the criteria needed and requested by the.
Да, то есть есть критерии, да, есть списки документов, которые необходимо предоставлять, и к этому тоже стоит относиться серьезно. For example, about passport. Например, то, что паспорт иностранного партнера должен быть действующим как минимум 2 года. Еще, да, то есть не стоит подавать документы, если у вас нету всего объема, да, и всех необходимых вещей. То есть с документами стоит тоже быть внимательным.
Yeah, so please just pay attention to the small details because any mistake or it can just prolong the process.
Просто, да, дело в том, что такие ошибки, такие как бы недосмотры, они могут продлевать вам процедуру.
Any out-of-date documents that been submitted or any documents that not been apostilled can just put obstacle and prolong your process.
Каждый документ, который там не с правильной датой или без апостили и так далее, он просто может сильно продлевать и ставить препоны в вашу процедуру. And it's a small thing, and it's not like you just can't do it. Вы просто можете, действительно, это та вещь, которая в вашем контроле находится.
Yeah, another common mistakes is depending on not trusted sources. Or comparing your situation to other individual
Да,
situation.
и еще третья такая большая ошибка, которую многие тоже совершают, это опираться на недостоверные источники или сравнивать свою ситуацию с другой индивидуальной ситуацией другого индивидуального человека. Мгм.
Yeah, so just try to consume your information from a valid, trusted source.
Старайтесь сверять информацию, в том числе и как бы потреблять информацию из достоверных источников, скажем.
Yeah, so not to have any obstacles and prolongation, and sometimes just decline. I can see cases that decline, and sometimes it's very unfortunate to see. Couples needs to sometimes get in a decision to the foreign partner to leave Israel within 14 days because of this kind of depending on.
Да, и Рой
this kind
говорит,
of
что он видит в своей практике ситуации, когда люди прочитали что-то где-то или кто-то им что-то посоветовал, и в итоге получают отказ и требования выехать из страны в течение 14 дней.
Questions?
Да, time for questions,
Yeah.
время для вопросов. We will start with the questions that we had before, or
Yeah,
with
okay.
or maybe with this ones.
Let's begin with people send some question in advance.
Да.
So let's
Да, у нас есть люди, которые присылали вопросы заранее, и мы сейчас быстро пройдемся по ним. Первый вопрос: как лучше запускать процесс, когда оба в Израиле или по отдельности? How it's better to start the process when both in Israel or separately?
Okay, so it's better. I'll be honest here. It's better that when the couple are together, even though, as I mentioned earlier, it's gonna perceived in a nice way by the interior office.
So, like,
the best way is to be together because of the time. Because I reminded myself as a professional that we have people in front of us, and if they are not together and they're applying separately, sometimes because of the interior office being interior office, it can be long months that the
да,
couple
надо
needs to
понимать, что процесс — это долгий процесс ожидания, когда пара не вместе, и это so the couple should be together.
If you are already together in
Если вы
Israel,
уже вместе в Израиле, если вы уже вместе в Израиле вот на момент, когда вы решили подавать, то подавайте.
Yeah, I'm just addressing this question in a very natural way, and for your question, there is a difference between what is according to the procedure and what is the current situation. If you are already together,
Если вы уже вместе,
and the interior office in the end of the day cannot, if you are together in Israel, cannot ask the foreign partner to leave Israel.
И если вы вместе уже в Израиле и подаете прошение, то МВД не может,
According to the law, cannot process.
То есть партнер-иностранец может оставаться в Израиле и ожидать решения согласно закону.
Of course, I cannot do process against the foreign partner, but very important to highlight, while it's being done with the innocent, honest ways.
Но когда это сделано, да, это важно отметить, да, сказать, что я это говорю, когда это сделано действительно неосознанно, когда в честном каком-то, да, в честной ситуации, not when people planning that.
Yeah, but
не в той ситуации, когда люди это...
Yeah, but definitely it's doable. And unfortunately, the current situation forcing and asking couples to be away, to be apart while you are applying until they're going to confirm the entry. It's sometimes nonsense, and it's very hard to...
Да, ну, сейчас действительно, в том числе и сейчас, сроки очень долгие, и люди могут быть по раздельности.
Yeah, I hope I addressed
я надеюсь, что я ответила на вопрос. Вопрос, есть ли какие-то особенности в прохождении процедуры, если ребенок уже гражданин Израиля, а жена нет? What if there are some special moments in the procedure, if the child is already a citizen of Israel and the wife is not?
Mutual child is good and helpful to show and vouch for the honesty of the relationship.
Общий ребенок — это здорово для того, чтобы показать в том числе и искренность отношений.
Yes, so it's another fact that can help you guys with it to show that you are
Ну да, это еще один
true
фактор, да,
couple.
который показывает, что вы настоящая пара.
Yeah, but that being said, you're still gonna need to have all the process, and you will need to face all the other
Но
conditions according to the gradual
да,
process.
надо отметить, что вам все равно придется проходить все те же этапы процедуры и все те же проверки, как и другим парам. Мгм.
Okay. Also about the kid, just pay attention that the kid getting his citizenship, his status, according to law of citizenship, he's getting it by his birth to Israeli citizen already. And sometimes also you might need to do DNA test. Just pay attention to that.
Здесь такой момент, что да, как бы здесь ребенок получает гражданство, потому что он ребенок гражданина. Там есть свои нюансы, иногда приходится делать тест ДНК в том числе. И просто иметь это в виду. И еще вопрос. Недавно позвонили, отменили запись в визовый центр на продление ВНЖ, сказали, продлят онлайн. Нормально ли это? Нужно ли с этим что-то делать? Call regarding the cancellation of the prolongation of א5, and said that it's going to be prolonged. Is it okay? And should I do something about it?
Well, unfortunately, at the moment, there is the special operation in order to obtain Israeli passport to Israeli citizen
К сожалению, да, сейчас проходит
before entering summer.
Да, вот эта история с драконами для граждан Израиля.
Okay, so I'll be straight with you here. If this message, it's meaning that it's going to extend your current visa,
Уточню, да, если...
and you weren't face any upgrade of your status, just leave it like that. It will be count in your gradual process, and don't.
So, если это смс, которое вам пришло, оно говорит только о том, что вам продлевают текущий статус, да, то оставьте это как есть, это время оно будет учтено, ничего не делайте.
Yeah, if you need entry visa, if you're planning to go abroad or whatever, just go.
Если вам нужна entry visa, то вам нужно пойти
go one day early in the morning
в какой-то день рано утром,
and demand it, okay? They have to give it.
И они должны вам, они обязаны дать вам эту entry visa.
This is if there is
просите это, да, настойчиво. But if it's upgrade,
if it's upgrade, it's super essential.
Да, если это речь идет о том, что в эту встречу, которую вам отменили, да, и перенесли, вам должны были менять, как бы повышать по ступенькам, да, уровень статуса. То есть, например, у вас был B1, и вам вот сейчас надо получать АЛЕФ5, то Рои рекомендует идти.
No, do not let it happen.
Не давайте это случиться, вам необходимо идти и требовать, чтобы вам сделали этот апгрейд, потому что это просто иначе удлиняет вашу процедуру.
And remember the following: you need to highlight the fact also to the clerks, and then they have to upgrade your status because there are consequences to that. If they're not going to upgrade your visa, it depends which visa it is. If it's for B1, you're not going to be able to work. If it's for temporary residency, it's the countdown also for having health insurance and битуах лауми.
Да, то есть это в любом случае, да, как бы есть важно помнить, что не повысить свой статус визы, если вам это пришло время это сделать, да, то есть если вы уже можете это сделать, то есть последствия этого. То есть, например, если вы сейчас на визе B2, да, на туристической без права работы, и вам должны были обновлять ее уже на B1 с правом работы, работы, то есть вы как бы теряете возможность работы, да, в это время, пока вы вам просто... Или если это с B1 Алиф Хамеш, то есть Алиф Хамеш, он уже дает право и национального страхования, и купат холим, и как бы, да, все вот эти вещи, это они тоже, как бы, получается, продлеваются. То есть ответ, can I just summarize the answer? То есть ответ такой, что если это просто... Так вы должны были бы в этот момент получить такой же тип визы, который у вас был, то оставляйте как есть, ничего страшного. Если в этот момент должно было произойти апгрейд визы, то идите и требуйте, чтобы этот апгрейд случился.
Yeah, please, if you're facing problems with it, if it's upgrade and you're facing problems, please don't hesitate to personal message me.
Да, если у вас есть с этим проблемы, с тем, чтобы пойти, и если вам отказывают, и там какие-то проблемы возникают в том, чтобы сделать этот апгрейд, то связывайтесь с нами.
That's possible.
Да, давайте продолжать. Через какое время после оформления брака можно начинать процедуру ступенчатой легализации? Я проживаю в Израиле, имею гражданство Израиля. Гражданский муж живет в России. Заранее спасибо. Which time after the marriage we can start the gradual procedure? I am in Israel and I'm an Israeli citizen, and my spouse, not husband, not official husband, lives in Russia.
Immediately.
Вы можете уже начинать. Вы можете сейчас начинать. Ступро, Ступро, оно не только для пар, которые находятся в официальном браке, он для пар, в том числе, которые находятся в неофициальном браке. То есть вы можете начинать процедуру и... Мы поженились в консульстве Израиля, в МВД не принимают документы по стилям, что мы поженились. We got married in the consulate, but МВД not receiving this document with apostille. So they declined this document.
Where in Israel?
Yeah, we got married in the consulate Israel.
In Israel, there's no acceptance of civil weddings and marriage at the moment. If it was abroad, it's not okay. In Israel, there is only a religious.
В Израиле нету гражданских, имеется в виду, да, то есть в Израиле есть только религиозные браки.
This is why, unfortunately, couples who's not qualified to go to Rabbanut or any religious marriage here needs to go abroad.
Которые не могут жениться там через Рабанут, им необходимо ехать за границу и заключать брак там.
Yeah, but civil wedding abroad need to have like the public documents, the wedding document, apostille, and it's doable and
это тоже все делать. Да, то есть, соответственно, жениться за границей, там делать официальный документ о браке, его апостилировать, здесь его переводить, нотариально заверять, и его должны принять. То есть, нужно ли иметь полный пакет документов для подачи в МВД? Do we have to have the full package of documents to apply to МВД?
It's highly recommended. Look, full package, you mean the documents according to the procedure?
I don't know what it's meant.
You have a list of documents according to the procedure, the relevant procedure. If you're married or if you're not married, you have a list of documents. I'm highly recommended to have them in full, to have them all.
Я рекомендую иметь все документы уже.
If you're applying and you're short of documents, according to the law, they need to give you 45 days to add the
если у вас какого-то документа не хватает, то они должны давать вам 45 дней для того, чтобы этот документ донести.
Yeah, but it's prolonged in the process.
Но это продлевает процедуру.
So just try to be ready as much as possible.
То я рекомендую быть готовым, как можно более готовым.
Because if you're not going to make it after, you're going to lose the fee, and it's like almost 1,000 shekels. So just,
если вы потом не будете готовы, то вы в том числе и теряете.
So just be prepared. You can apply, but it's better.
Теряете деньги, которые, да, за подачу это почти 1000 шекелей. То есть Рои рекомендует быть максимально готовым. Окей, давайте перейдем к вопросам, которые мы сегодня получили. Меня зовут Екатерина, я гражданка. Ребят, вы можете читать вопросы, я буду сразу переводить для Руи. My name is Екатерина, I'm an Israeli citizen. I have a partner, we're not in official marriage. He came to me a few times as a tourist. We want to start Stupro, but we don't understand how to do it the best way. Should we get married before or in the process of the procedure? How to do it the way so the partner not gonna stuck with no entry visa the first year.
Ekaterina, you do not have to be married in order to apply and to ask your partner to enter Israel.
Да, Екатерина, вы можете не быть официальным, не состоять в официальном браке для того, чтобы просить право на въезд для вашего партнера.
As long as you have already background and you can show the history of the romantic history.
Да, если у вас уже есть общий бэкграунд, если вы можете показать историю ваших отношений.
And you have enough evidence, it should be fine. That being said.
И если у вас есть достаточно подтверждения этому, да, что вы настоящая пара, все должно быть хорошо.
Sometimes people tend to think that if they're gonna get married, it's gonna make it easier on them and make it easier on the interior office to have a positive.
Да, люди, часто думают, да, что если женаты, то МВД на это будет смотреть легче, и это как-то, да, проще сделать для вас процедуру.
It is not fully correct. It's maybe partly because the main test here, it's the honesty of the relationship. It doesn't matter if you married or not.
Здесь самое важное это правдивость отношений. Тут не важно.
Yeah, make long story short, it's doable. You can apply. The most important thing is you have a true, honest relationship. If you anyway plan to get married, it's okay, do it, but you do not have to do it.
Да, если вы планируете пожениться, то да, делайте это. Если нет, то вы не обязаны это делать.
Your husband, your spouse can enter, and maybe after, if you're going to be ready, you can go out and get married.
Да, если вы потом можете выехать, если вы планируете когда-то в будущем пожениться, вы можете потом в процессе процедуры выехать и пожениться. Кать, скажите, Екатерина, скажите, мы ответили на ваш вопрос?
Да, я могу голосом, наверное, ответить. Yes, thank you, Roy, for the answer, but also my question was that as far as we understand now, so if we still are not married officially, we can apply for the procedure inside the country. But if we will get married officially, that means that the only way is to apply separately, because official spouse of the Israeli cannot enter the country without the visa, right? And so also the question is like, if we will start before the marriage, that means that we can start inside the country, but the consequence for this will be that the non-Israeli partner will not get entry visa during the very long time, and he has job, he needs to do the business trips, I don't know, visit family, but then the person will be just stuck in the country for like year, or we don't know for how long, because there is no official information about the period of time that we need to wait before the non-Israeli partner will get the entry visa. So that was the question. What way is more, I don't know, fast in terms of procedure and in terms of life? Like, if we want to live in Israel, but we want to have the possibility to go out, I don't know, to visit the family or for business trips.
So look, your question is more about unfortunately the time, the time, the frame that the interior office needs to give a decision in your cases. It's not necessarily regarding if you are married or not, because it's the same. You need to apply before you enter, actually. If you happen to be already here, or you got married and you managed to get inside Israel and be next to you while you are applying, both of you, either if you're married or not, it doesn't matter. He will need, as you mentioned, to be with you until the end of all of the checks. The checks can be checks of your documents. If you are from the former USSR, you need to go also to an organization called Nativ to check all the further and to get their opinion or their recommendation, to have interview in the interior office, and it takes long months. It can take up to a year sometimes to end all the checks. And as the interior office concern, you need to be here in Israel, because when you apply, you are ready, as far as he is concerned, to move your center of life to Israel for good. So for him, for the interior office as an institution, it doesn't matter, because he needs to be here anyway, not to think about business trip or going abroad or tourism. Unfortunately, yeah, I can understand the need, but this is it is what it is. So regarding to be married or not, it's not about that. Unfortunately, this is the process, and it can be different from different branches where you live in Israel. It can be in the periphery, like in far north or south, or small branches. Usually it can be a bit faster because they have less stress, they have less more human resource, they have less cases, so sometimes they're dealing with more efficiently and much faster than the other interior office branches, such as Tel Aviv, or the big branches that have a lot of application and cases to deal with, so it takes even longer. They're not committed by the law. This is true, and this is sad, but this is the sad fact. So depends when you are. Also geographically, is Israel can help and ease with the time frame. But yeah, you just
yeah, but the thing is that basically by law, if we're talking about the classic, how it's in the procedure, it doesn't matter if you're married or not, your partner needs to be outside and waiting to the invitation. The fact is that if somehow if you can be married or not married, and he's already here and you're applying, and like it happened that he's here already, yeah, but regarding the wait, Roy, I think answered.
Yeah, it's not going to make it faster regarding the entry visa. While you're here applying, you need to finish all the checks, and then actually you opening the case. Just in the end of all the checks, all the documents, all the interview, all the security checks, recommendation from Nativ, just then you open the case and you qualify to get the first status and to ask for multiple entry visa to Israel to go. That being said, remember that you center your life in Israel, so try to be modest with going outside of Israel, so you can
we
prove.
will have this question later.
Okay.
Okay. Palina is asking, hello, I've been living in Israel for almost 2 years, and I have 2 questions. What are the current conditions for obtaining citizenship? How many years does Israel need to be the center of life? And the criteria will be considered, determine the center. Okay.
During 1 year, if she is already in the process?
No. Like, as I understand, Palina already in the process, and
yeah, hi, sorry. Yeah, right now I have my Aleph Hamesh visa, and I have Taudat Zehut, and I'm just trying to think further about procedure. Thank you.
Okay, but did we cover, maybe because we spoke about the timings during the when Roy was speaking, he spoke about the time. We covered this question, or you want to?
I think you're referring to the center of life. Center of life. There is not exact calculated time. It's not like you the majority of the year will be in Israel, so you qualified, you're good. It can also be less than the majority of the year, but you should have evidence such as business in Israel, apartment in Israel, some kind of this kind of concept evidence that will help you to show that you settle in Israel. Sometimes you're going outside to do to visit family, tourism, etc. But your core place is in Israel. Of course, it's better also to prove it by staying the majority of the year, most of the year in Israel, but it not necessarily means that this is a must. So I had already cases in the past that were less than less of the majority of the year, and it was I could prove it. So this is for the test of the yearly center of life, aside to the
last 2 years.
No, but this is the yearly. This is why I mentioned the yearly center of life. That being said, and aside to that, you need to remember, in order to apply for citizenship, in the end of the process, you need to remember there is criteria that one of them is to stay at least 2 years in a row, okay, straight 1 year in Israel in order to be able to apply for citizenship.
2 years.
2
years in a
row.
Before applying to citizenship,
okay.
You should be in Israel.
You can play with maybe very short visit here, but the procedure and the law is very precise about that, black and white, 2 years in a row. So just pay attention to that.
2 last years.
Can I ask about this 2 years in a row? What does it mean? If, for example, I have like a sec Moshe here in Israel, and I have business trips to Europe, like how can I do this according to this rule, like that I should spend 2 years in a row in Israel? Or it's like the short trip, because I don't spend more than 2 weeks in Europe during my business trip. So what's the recipe for this calculation?
Where is your partner during these business trips?
He lives in Israel, and he also has a sec Moshe, and he also has a lot of business trips to Europe.
So you going separately abroad?
Sometimes not, but we have like rental agreement here in Israel. We have 2 sec Moshes, and I don't know, we have
about, I'm sorry, but Paulina, I was specific about the trips abroad because of this criteria regarding 2 years in a row. Okay, so just I'm sorry, because the law is very precise about that. I understand sometimes there is a need, but sometimes you need to swallow it up. And if you have just one trip, small trip, maybe another one, just and you can really show it, it's really problematic. But because you're also going by yourself, and also your spouse going by himself, so the interior office can be suspicious here and just prolong your process in order to keep checking it, and you might not gonna end the procedure. So you need to be serious for the last 2 years to be because there is a specific paragraph about it. Just just apply this paragraph and not to have problems, because it is what it is. This is the law, and any other, as you mentioned, there's no real way to bend it unless you just depend on yourself on the interior office, and the interior office can be very strict here and just decline. Okay.
So if I get it right, I cannot go to business trips without my husband during this last 2 years, right? And I cannot visit, for example, my family without my husband.
You should not do it. I highly recommend not to do it, and stay 2 years in a row in Israel. Okay.
It's not only about
together or not together.
It's about unfortunately, if you're going to go frequently outside of Israel, there's a big probability that they're going to prolong your procedure, and they will prolong it until they will be sure that your center of life is in Israel, and stuff like that.
Okay, it's very strict. Okay, I will sum it up. Okay, it's very strict, this criteria with the 2 years in a row. They can tackle and attack your visits abroad by yourself too, regarding the honesty of the relationship. And they tackle, of course, as I mentioned, the 2 years in a row that you are not committing as the procedure and the law request. Okay, I hope.
I hope we covered it.
And sorry, like really small question. How can I identify that I had short trips? Because in instructions, I see this mark that like 2 years in a row, excluding short vacations.
Exactly. Yeah.
And how can I identify it if I have like 5 trips, like 2 days each of these trips? It's like short vacations or
there is
not?
No exactly, Paulina. There is no exact interpretation. That's the thing. I recommend to do less as possible. I kind of mentioned before, 1, 2 trips, kind of. Don't try to play with that, because as much as you play with that and do, you can claim that short trips is 5 days. You can do 10, 15 trips, and where is a slippery slope. So I recommend not to do more than 1, 2 during this 2 last year, because that's the end. This is the money time. Okay, this is the end of the process. You should be serious as much as possible. Swallow some frogs and just try to commit for the procedure as it is, in order not to leave any interpretation to the interior office to tackle and attack you, because it just can prolong your process. I'm sorry, it is what it is. This is
guys, we covered some questions from Paulina about this, and about Ekaterina also about the timing. Please tell us if we covered it all, like all together.
Any further questions?
Okay, so I consider it covered, because Ekaterina also asked the questions about the center of life and how much time of a year to be or not to be here. I think we covered it. So Paulina also asking, should the foreign...
Sorry, excuse me, may I ask here a bit? So yeah, I understood about the last 2 years, but about first years. So is it the same law as they apply for instance, Darkon, about 75% of the year? Or I heard that Roy said that it's possible to even spend less time. I mean, I'm thinking about situations, I don't know, when you're visiting your family, I don't know, anything can happen. We have parents, right, who usually are staying in the countries where are we from. So, I mean, we never know what can happen. So I understood about the last 2 years, but I mean, in the middle, like, is it possible to go away for more than 75% of the year?
It is possible, but not necessarily that the interior office gonna consider this year part of the gradual process. Just to be straight here, unfortunately, the interior office is strict about these 2 tests: the honesty of the relationship and center of life. As I mentioned before, sometimes it's doable to prove and to show that your center of life is still in Israel, even though you spend abroad most of the year, like majority of the year. Sometimes it's like it's a very out there claim, such as professional sport athletes, diplomats, etc. This kind of thing, you should really bring evidence and proof. It's more difficult, but it's doable in a way, because the exam is not the exam of center of life, is not speaking precisely and specifically about the number of days. but it is leaving for the interior office a space to say, okay, you spend this and that time abroad. I'm not sure about it. I'm going to let you keep doing the gradual process, but I'm not going to consider this year part of the gradual. I'm not going to decline your case because you don't have center of life, but I'm not sure about it. I'm going to let's proceed with the gradual process. I'm just not going to count this year and try better next year, something like that. So just have in mind in case. I gave you some maybe some kind of tools in order to think about the concept of showing if you have this kind of scenario situations that you have to be abroad most of the year, but you need to remember this is not the purpose of the procedure. Okay, the state of Israel would like you to show that you're serious about Israel, about it is being your center of life, and you to move here for good and not to look around to other places. In a way, in a nutshell, I hope I made it clear.
Yes, thank you. I fully understand. May I also add here, because it's connected, and I wrote it was connected. So you were talking about the Israeli partner, right? And we are talking about the very first year. I mean, even before this prolonged touristic visa. And for instance, the situation when the couple is married. So is it possible for Israeli citizen to leave the country due to stay together with the partner till the partner is waiting for the first visa to enter the country and to apply for the procedure?
Of course, if I understood correctly, I mean Israeli citizen line while the foreign
partners abroad, and Israel is going to the foreign partner.
No, it's totally fine. He can go, but he needs to remember, he needs to be super available for the interior office, inviting him for the first meeting.
No, but also he needs to have apartment here, no? Like to have center of life here, to show center of life.
Yeah, I'm talking about center of life. And so it means, as far as I understand now, people, when they apply for the visa outside Israel, right? So if we're talking about the way how Misrat Apnim is seeing the procedure, right? That was the slide that you showed us, that like the perfect scenario is that the non-Israeli is going to the consulate in the country where the non-Israeli is from and is applying for this first visa to enter Israel and to apply for Stupro. So for instance, if in this case the Israeli partner is going out of the country and stay more than, I don't know, 75% outside, 75% of year is staying outside, is not living in Israel, and will not Misrat Apnim say that see, the Israeli partner doesn't have the center of life in Israel, so we are declining the case?
Israeli, I'm sorry, you're a bit confused. The Israeli citizen has the center of life in Israel. He doesn't have the center of life according to the interior office if he lives abroad more than a year. This is kind of obligated for him to apply while he is abroad. And I didn't mention that is the classic situation to apply from the consulate abroad. It's just another scenario, another option to do so. The classic is when the Israeli apply from Israel while the foreign citizen is abroad. Anyway, regarding to the center of life, the Israeli citizen should have, of course, because part of the criteria is to show that you have the Israeli citizen have an apartment, have a job, etc., but in a way that to sustain the economically the foreign citizen, the spouse. But that being said, there is no any obligation for the Israeli citizen to stay here and to wait. He can apply and spend time. It's actually encourageable. Also, it's very sad and hard to see that partners living apart from each other.
But he needs to have central life here. So it's not like he can not have apartment, not have job, not have anything here, just go live there, but apply from here. It's
he needs it, but it's not part of the umbrella of center of life. I'm trying to say that he should, for example, if we're gonna live while they are waiting for the first meeting in the interior office and being next to the spouse, they're not gonna claim he lost the ability, because he as long as he has this criteria according to the procedure, but it's not under the umbrella of central life. They cannot claim he lost it.
Yeah, okay.
You understand?
Yes, I understand that. Like, if I want to, like, I should still pay for my apartment, even though I'm not living in Israel, I don't know, for half year, for instance, because I'm spending this half year with my partner, waiting for this first visa to enter. So
yeah, you can play with that, with maybe find sublet or
but you need to, at some point they will ask you to come and bring the original document.
Okay, and remember,
and you need to be very available.
The Israeli citizen should be for the first meeting, in order to show the original documents, etc.
Okay, so let's move on. Another question from Paulina: should a foreigner cancel the citizenship of a previous country in order to get Israeli citizenship at the end of the procedure?
Sorry, come again.
If a foreign partner should cancel the previous citizenship, so if like the foreign partner has his foreign citizenship and to obtain Israeli citizenship, should he cancel?
No, for sure not at the beginning. At the end, there is a paragraph 7, according to the law of citizenship. There are some criteria that can give a ptor, that can give that means that he doesn't have to do it if they are doing the gradual process.
But also it's regarding the double citizenships, it's also Israel not asking to leave the citizenship of the other country, but maybe your country is having the problems with double
that being
more
said,
than one citizenship, so you need to consult with the
interior office. The interior office, aside to what I mentioned, the interior office send an obligation to the foreign spouse to sign that he checked with his authorities in his foreign country, according to the law there, if there's going to be consequences. So this is what Ilona referred to, consult with the local lawyer regarding to the law abroad.
Next question: if we are not married couple and we are both already in Israel, how long does it take on average now to get B1 for an entry with an entry visa to leave Israel for vacation, for example? So if they not married,
didn't apply it.
This is the question. If you applied, Sergey, if you're here, maybe tell if you applied, not applied yet. From the online application.
I understand. So it depends, as I mentioned before, which branch is it, but plus minus, I would say around 6 months until they're gonna examine the request and ask you to come for the first meeting to show the original documents. Then depends if you are from the former USSR country. If you need to go to the native organization to double check the original documents and have further checks also regarding to Israeli and his past obtaining citizenship, etc. There are checks there too. It can take around 8 to 12 months plus minus to get the B1 is actually when all the checks, the first meeting, the native if it's relevant, the interview interview.
We're talking about
split you.
non-married
Non-married,
couples,
non-married.
not married.
With the non-married couple, after all these checks, they're gonna be also, it depends if they're gonna get a decision right away after they finish the check. Usually it's they ending at with the split interview. They can give the decision right away, or they can say no, we need to think about it. It can take another several months. They can then decline it or approve it with the zalog, with the guarantee. So I would say 8 to 12 months, depends the circumstances, how the interview went and all the checks, if you had all the documents, plus minus, and depends the branch too, how busy they are.
So 8 to 12 months, basically.
Plus minus.
Plus minus. A question from me. Can a couple have an entry visa when they are still on B2?
It's very rare, but yes, I did it several times with mostly with the couples that wanted to go abroad to get married. Like you need to have like a serious, valid excuse to ask it.
You should ask.
You should ask, and and usually it should be a good reason. Almost they give it usually if you have a good cause, and yeah, if you're going to get married, it's okay with the interior office, but just one. They never give multiple, of course. Just one entry.
Okay. And they didn't apply. So they said they didn't apply.
Okay, I understand.
Okay. So
I understand. It depends. You can try also to. It depends. I hope it's not somewhere in the center. It's crazy. Also now with the Darkon, the passport marathon, they give this. It's crazy. It's chaos. What's going on at the moment? Like they move clerks from all around to help with this passport situation. So there's further prolongation with checking the Stupro cases. So yeah, you can try to push it forward, to appeal, to send the email request, etc. But yeah, it can be almost 6 months just for the first meeting, and yeah, it takes time.
It takes time, yeah. But we wish you good luck.
Of course.
Yeah, all of you. Yeah. Guys, tell if you have more questions.
Yeah, I think we have time for one last question.
Yeah. Someone have questions? I think we covered it all. Okay, I think we're good. I think we're done. So this is let's keep in touch. Yeah, this is our contact. You can contact us with your further questions for consultations, and please, and visit the site for the useful materials that we have there. Okay, thank you.
Yeah, thank you everyone.
Thank you.
I had a good time. I hope I wish you all great success, and yeah, easy process. I know sometimes it can be.
Всем желаем легкого процесса, да, чтобы все складывалось здорово.
And good luck with everything.
Да, спасибо всем. Да, счастливо.
Thank you, guys. Have a good evening.
Thanks a lot. Bye.
Bye.